I got abandoned. You feel me? By my own family, my own friends, like some of my best friends. I didn't hear from them at all, until way down the line. You know what I mean? So it was everybody deals with grief differently, but I definitely realized that it's a lot of lessons to be learned during this time.
Look, moving divinity, shedding off the ego. I took off all my jewelry. The gimmicks that they do for attention, they been moving me. The foolery they caught up in, I caught my second wind and went the distance. Ain't no calling quits. Usually, hobby with a homicides is regular. This one's for the dealers who touch tickets and still peddling. Coonery at an all-time high. Hobby where the felons live. Everybody wanna be a killer when we need more men. Took my pen back into them nights when I prayed for the fame, not knowing I was naive to this.
Welcome to the first episode of Talk with Tay podcast. I'm your host Tay, and this episode is very personal and very special for many reasons. This is my first episode on my own platform. I've been working really hard behind the scenes to, finally get to this moment. So it just means a lot to be here and to be finally doing it. Another reason this is personal for me, it's gonna be my first time sharing my journey of healing after losing my mother 2 years ago. So I just want to take a little time to say that I'm extremely grateful to have had the relationship that I had with my mother. True mother and son bond, and just genuine unconditional love. And throughout this journey, I've been able to notice and realize that many people don't have that experience. So it just gives me something to be grateful about now at this point in my journey, because it caused me a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, man. And it's been 2.5 years and I'm still walking this path, and it's been a very lonely one. So I'll say that. Today's episode, I want to take you all through the early stages of what it was like losing my mother. Um, I'm going to go in detail about a lot of things that I dealt with early on and that I deal with to this day still. So December 3rd, 2021, really hard day for me. That's the day my mother passed away. And I still remember, getting that phone call from my auntie while being in school, and just remembering that experience is very traumatizing to me. When she called me, all I could hear was her screaming through the phone, and in that moment, initially, I thought my life was over, if we're being honest, man. As soon as I heard it, it's like everything was sucked out of me. Like I felt empty, like instantly, as soon as I heard that, my mother was, my ride or die. That was my best friend. She meant the world to me, and in that moment, I wanted to be with her. Like my thoughts were like, I want to die. Like I'm just being real. It's a very dark time. Very dark time. I was very suicidal early on in those stages. Very lonely, just very lonely and dark path that I had to walk even to get to this point. And just a little backstory about, my leading up to my mother's passing. She got sick early on in 2021, I would say around February. And that's when COVID, was very fresh. The pandemic was still a thing. Like, COVID is still around, but, that's when it was fresh and a lot of people were losing their lives. And I remember her getting COVID while I was, still in school in February. And I was concerned because, my mother has been, she's dealt with underlying health conditions my entire life. So I had to watch my mother suffer from being sick, since a kid. So it was very scary to see that at first. But one thing I do know that my mom was a extreme fighter when it came to her health. She she fought back many times, and she almost left this earth plenty of times during my childhood. So I was there was some fear there. I was very scared, especially being away, hours away at school and not being at home. So many thoughts running around in my head, and yeah, but she ended up bouncing back pretty strong from COVID. Probably after a month, there was some weight, taken off of everybody's shoulders, especially mine. And as time progressed throughout that year, I just remember, her energy was a lot different. I started to notice things. She started to become more grateful and extremely kind to everybody. You know what I mean? And I didn't really know I didn't know how to take that, I would say. Um, I remember for her birthday is June 13th, and I remember I sent her edible arrangement package. I had it delivered because I was still, I was being an intern at the time during the summer, so I wasn't at home. And I just remember her opening that, calling me first, and then she opened the gift. And my mother was always kind whenever she would get things, right? Like, I'm not saying that, this is the only time she's been kind, but her energy was different. It was almost like she was preparing herself for something, right? And unfortunately, that's what kind of led to her passing. In hindsight, that's how I think about it. A lot of the phone calls became less between me and her. She got sick again right around July of 21. And I just remember not talking to her as much, and that was new for me because I would talk to my mom all the time, like every day if I could. You know what I mean? So I was calling her. If she was calling me, if I didn't answer, I hit her back. Feel me? She didn't answer. She hit me back when she could, and I just remember for like a month, man. She was back in the hospital, and my family was just telling me, "Yo, it's gonna be all right," and she all right. She just, she having some more problems with such and such. My mom was a diabetic, so obviously a lot of issues came from that. Um, and I just remember having an intuition, like it's gonna hurt to say this, but like I started preparing myself a little bit. And I hate that I have to say that. Like in that moment, in those moments, I hated that feeling. I really hated that feeling. As time go on, my birthday, I don't hear from her. My birthday is August 16th. I don't hear from her at all. I call home. She had a cell phone at the time. I called a cell phone. It's dead. It's going straight to voicemail. So I'm calling my peoples, my brothers, sisters, everybody, whatever. Come to find out, she's still in the hospital. She's been in the hospital for over a month now, and I didn't really have much information about it because, again, my mom, she was my biggest supporter in everything when it came to me. So she didn't want me to worry about her because she knew I would be there, right by her side, and that just goes to show you how much she cared about me and how much she was willing to just, keep me shielded away from things that are tough to deal with in her life. And her illness was one of those. She kept a lot of things away from me that I didn't know until after her passing. So it does hurt. It does hurt to relive those moments. And I just remember again, like on my birthday, I didn't hear from her. I'm trying to call, and you can feel the energy when you talk to people. I'm talking to my auntie, I'm talking to my brother, they don't want to tell me much information. And I'm like, man, nah, this shit ain't cool, man. I'm getting more worried as time go on, and like I just want to talk to my mama. You know what I mean? So it was hard leading up to her passing as well because I'm at school, I'm far away. I don't really have much information. So it's like I don't have nothing to do but to worry about it. You know what I mean? So I spend most of my time just very scared, very emotional, just wanting to talk to her, wanting to go home. And I'll never forget. shortly after my birthday, I got a chance to go back home and visit her in the hospital. And it's been a while since I seen my mom. It's been some months, right? And I remember getting to the hospital and walking in that room, bro, like, and seeing her in that bed. That was a totally different person. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I looked at her for about 30 seconds and I stepped out. Like that's how hard that shit was. Like I wasn't used to seeing her like that at all. And from that moment, that's when I knew, you know, okay, this is serious, more serious than I thought. Like this is pretty bad. You know what I mean? And I'm in the hallway crying. My brothers and my sisters there, and they saying sorry. We ain't tell you all of this stuff. I'm like, bro, what? Like this can't be a thing right now. You know what I mean? So it was, man, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to see her like that, and to just know that it's at this stage where it can be detrimental, and that's something that I still deal with, like, personally, because I spent a lot of time in school away from her, away from family, and I didn't have much time to. I didn't think she would be, like, from the last time I seen her, I didn't think her condition would be what it was at the time that I got to visit home. So it hurt more to know that I've been away at school and trying to make some things shake for my life, and knowing that I'm missing out on time, and I don't know when this time going to expire. I'm thinking my mom is going, she going to be alive for a while. She going to get to see me have kids and all of this stuff, and you know, it's just funny how life plays its cards. I'll say that. So yeah, I remember the last time that I got to spend some personal, time with her. It was my last time seeing her because they restricted the visits in the hospital where she was at the time, and it was, I think it was some crazy shit, like one person a week or something like that. So it was like, my sister and my aunt and other people were like her, caretakers or whatever. So they would be the ones immediately have to, have access to her for many reasons. And before I left, man, I just remember her sitting in the bed, and the nurses is coming in, and they telling me aside, on the side, like, hey, she hasn't been eating. She can't keep food down. She doesn't want to eat any food. It's not good for her, right? And then when they came back, my mom she seemed like she was full of energy. She was trying to eat. She was telling the nurses what type of food she wanted, and they looking confused because she's been like pretty much sending them off like, I don't want no food or whatever. And the nurse pulled me aside again and was like, man, this is the most she's been active about, putting some food in her body since you've been here. Like, who are you? I'm like, I'm her youngest son. Like, I'm the baby. I'm the youngest of 9 kids, just to put that out there. So yeah, that really meant a lot to me because she didn't want me to see her like that. She didn't want me to see her weak, and she was very weak at the moment, very weak, and it hurt. It hurt to see her like that. My mom was a fighter her entire life, so to see her just bow down like that, it put a cold place in my heart to experience that for those 3 days that I was home, and she was eating a lot of food while I was there, and the last thing I remember she asked me to do for her was to, grab a brush and brush her hair. You know what I mean? I just, man, that shit is, it's tough. Reliving moments and experiences like that because that's the last time I got to see her. You know what I mean? So it weighs on me a lot. It weighs on me a lot. You got some tissue, bro? Right. Yeah, so that experience still weighs on me really heavy. I think about it all the time because, like I said, I didn't expect my time with her to expire so soon. You know what I mean? Last time I seen her, it was my mama. Like everything seemed normal. So for her to decline like that, that was shocking, bro. Like that's some interesting shit, man. That's some interesting shit. Um, I remember going back home, the day that I left, I said bye to her and I had plans of visiting again. And that's another thing that weighs down on me super heavy because I'm saying, yeah, mom, be back. I'll be back. I'm planning all the visits because you have to plan the visits and you have to, get all the COVID tests and whatever, all of that stuff. A negative tests, vaccinations and all of that. So I'm doing all of that at the time, and I never got that visit again, bro. Like I never got to go back. Like that time ran out quick for me. She started to decline more when I left, and it just went downhill from there, man. You know, leading up to her passing, like when it was very, very close, I remember probably like 2 days before, my brother, he hit me and he was just silent on the phone. And I'm like, around the time that my mom passed December 3rd, this is like, well, yeah, like December 1st, like that first week of December. So he called me, he's just silent. I'm like I could feel it in my gut, like something bad is about to happen. Like my mom's about to die. Like I had to prepare myself for that feeling, and that's something I don't wish on nobody ever in life. He just silent on the phone, and I can hear him, kind of, crying, like, but he trying to hold it in, and he just said, "Tavon, they saying there's nothing they can do for her," and you feel me? I just dropped the phone. Right, I was at my desk at the time at the crib. I just dropped the phone, and I just stared, bro. I went blank. Like everything in me went numb. I just hung the phone up. I try to distract myself by, I put some headphones on and try to play some music, like just to try to escape what I just heard. And I pressed shuffle, and the first song I hear was "Dear Mama," and I was like, "Oh shit, like this ain't good." And "Dear Mama" by Tupac, that shit is it has some very powerful frequency to me. Like I can't listen to that song without crying. Like I'm just be honest with you. And that shit came on, I broke down. Like I broke down super, super bad. Like I'm weeping. Like I'm on the floor. Cause I knew it. Like I knew this time was coming, bro. And for the next 2 days until, the day of, I was just sleeping, bro. Like dreading getting up because, God was preparing me for this. Like I literally heard it. Like he told me to get ready. And I'm not even, you know, I don't want to make this a spiritual thing, but it is. He told me to prepare for this moment, and I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't do it. I just slept. I didn't want to get up out of bed. I wasn't showering or nothing for those 2 days. I just was like, man, why the fuck am I? Like, why do I got to get up? That's just what I'm thinking. And the day of, you know, not knowing, like I said, not knowing when this time is gonna come, I'm just preparing. You know, my brother texts me, my other brother Keith, he texts me, we about to go to the hospital. I'm like, all right, cool, all right. Me not knowing, I'm thinking he's just going to the hospital. Everybody's going to the hospital because they about to pull the plug. I don't notice at the time though, because there's so much shit going on. I mean, I just don't know. And he gets to the hospital, it's probably like it's around about 4:45, 5ish, He FaceTime me. Everybody's in the room. I'm like, okay. Like this what this is. Like, and I'm way at school and I can't even be there. Like that shit not right. Um, so I'm just on FaceTime and I'm seeing this in real time, bro. Like, they've already been there for a while, probably like close to an hour, and they know I'm the baby, so it's gonna hurt me the most. Like it's gonna tear me apart. So they wait to call me, and I'm just looking at this room, bro. I see my mom in the bed, and I already knew what time it was. And you feel me? My brother put the phone by her face. He was like, "Mama, look, it's Tavon," and I'm just looking at her, and like honestly, I definitely watched my mom take her last breath on Facetime. Like I know for a fact I did. She was pronounced dead around 5:30. This is and when I'm on the phone, it's about 4:40, 4:50, whatever. I'm just telling her I love her. I'm crying really like super duper hard. I'm crying like I can't even talk. I can't breathe. I'm just saying I love you. I love you, man. All of this, and she kind of, she laying in the bed. She kind of nudge over at the screen. And it's like I literally seen it come out. The last breath she took come out, bro. And I just hung the phone up. You feel me? And then crying, I'm sitting by my couch, just like, nah, this can't be real. This can't be real. You know what I mean? I'm going through it. And, I get that call from my auntie. First thing she said, Tavon, she gone. Dropped the phone again. And I promise you, like, the phone wasn't on speaker, and I had the phone right by me on the couch. Like my auntie was screaming so loud, bro. It felt like she was in my fucking apartment. Like that's probably the most. That's so traumatizing too, just to hear somebody scream that loud on the phone, and it sounds like they're right there next to you. I hope I don't ever experience. I'm pretty sure I won't ever experience pain like this again, because this shit has just made me numb. If we being honest, but yeah, man, it really fucked me up. You know, I was suicidal instantly. I have, had my pistol, had a knife. I'm just sitting by the couch. You know, it's it's nothing you can do to convince me. Like I know this is what I want to do, right? Like I'm about to check out of here. Like I had it already planned. I'm like, nah, I want to be with my mom. This ain't it. So for a long time, bro, I just sat on that couch, just slouched over. I had a gun in this hand, I had a blade in this hand, and I'm shaking. I'm shaking, bro. Mind you, ain't nobody, I don't really know, got nobody close to me that I could call. You know what I mean? So if that would have, I don't know, man. It's thinking back, thinking back on it, I'm glad I didn't take my own life, but it was definitely heavy on me in that moment and continuously for about a year. So just reliving that moment too, just sitting in a dark apartment, knowing, just finding out that your mom passed was, man, I don't think I even wanted people to be around me at that time. That wouldn't have been good for nobody. I was very dark. My energy was very demonic, I would say, just being transparent. because I literally want to die. Like I'm gonna keep saying this because I have to emphasize like I that's how I felt. Like I wanted to be with my mom. Like there was nothing else you could tell me. So yeah, man, it's I'll never forget that feeling. It still feels like it was yesterday. Like it's 2.5 years now, bro, and it's still, it still feels like I just got that call, and I was in that apartment by myself, nobody near me, nothing. So it was very lonely, and at the same time, I'm about to graduate college the next week, bro. Like, and my mom was my biggest supporter again. Like, she was glad that I was able to get away from the hood and go to school and play ball and all of that shit. And I feel guilty for, I took a little extra time to finish school because, I was playing baseball, I transferred, I was injured, I had sat out of school for a year. You know what I mean? So it took me a little minute to finish my bachelor's. And I just think about it like you couldn't wait one more week, ma. Like to see me finish, like what we started, like, cause we started this shit together, like for real. She was there every step of the way. And to lose my mom and then have to prepare to walk the stage for graduation, I didn't see the point of that shit. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm already suicidal. Like, there's nothing like what else can go wrong right now? You know what I mean? So I'm preparing for graduation, and man, I'm dreading the fuck out of it. December 3rd was a Friday, so I got rehearsal on Monday. Got to pick up my cap and gown on Monday, all of that shit. And I'm just like, man, this shit is like, this shit can't be real. You feel me? Like I didn't post nothing about it or nothing. I'm just going through it. And at the time, I'm not hearing from my family at all. Like ain't nobody, you feel me, checking in on me. Like my pop's not fucking with me. Feel me, he ain't answer the phone. I called him, when it happened, when I found out the news. He just said, sorry to hear that. I just hung up the phone because I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? That's another topic that I'll discuss later, but it was just a very lonely time. And I gotta prepare to graduate while I'm dealing with all of this shit, finding out, funeral arrangements and all of that stuff, and not being there. Like I'm far away, and like I have no comfort, no love, no nothing, bro. Like it's man, I don't wish that on nobody. Like for real. I don't wish that on nobody. And that entire week leading up to my graduation, again, bro, I'm sleeping. I'm not eating. Just very dark, very lonely. Every time I wake up, I'm like, man, fuck, I wish I wouldn't wake up. Like I don't even want to wake up ever. Like I was sleeping so much, bro, like during the day, during the night, like just sleep, 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 man. And it was, I cut my phone off, and when I turned my phone back on, man, everybody that I least expected is reaching out to me. But the people that I love, I ain't hearing shit from. And that goes for siblings, immediate family, whatever. I ain't hearing nothing from them. So I'm like, what is this about? Like, it confused me because everybody else reaching out to me, trying to comfort me. My pop side of the family, my grandma, my auntie, they calling me nonstop, texting me. It got to the point where they did a wellness check on me, and I'm going through the text messages, and I'm seeing every text message. Are you okay? Call, please call. All of this stuff, and the last message I get to, we sending a sheriff to your apartment. I'm like, man, fuck that. I ain't about to answer that. So I like that day. You feel me? I'm just chilling. A few hours go by. Hard ass knocking my door. I'm like, man, like, what are y'all on, bro? Like, leave me alone. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, just leave me the fuck alone. Like, please. So they keep knocking. They knocking like a motherfucker. I'm like, all right, bro, I answer. So I just get up, I answer. I just look at them, They said, "Hey, we're here to do a wellness check. Your aunt called and us." I'm like, "Yeah, I lost my mom and I don't want to be bothered right now." And they just looking and I just shut the door. Like I'm just like, yeah. I just told them I was good because I mean I wasn't good. Like I wasn't about to tell them I was about to kill myself or anything like that. But yeah, man, it's just that was a rough time. It's a rough time leading up to graduation, which was that Friday, the week after. It was either Friday or Saturday morning. One of those. I don't even forgot. I was a fall graduate, so I graduated. I don't even remember. Whatever. That night before, I was like, man, I'm not going. Like I just can't do it. Like it's no way I can do this. And somehow I just got the courage to get up, get dressed, throw on my cap and gown, whatever, and drive up to the school for graduation. I wear shades that day because again, a lot of people don't know what I'm going through, and obviously, like my teammates and people that I casually dealt with, whatever girls, whatever, they see in my social media posts, but a lot of people didn't see that I posted, the news of my mom passing. So I'm just at graduation rehearsal, and the only person that know what's going on is my nigga E. Like he graduated with me, my boy E. He just came and sat by me. He didn't say nothing. You feel me? He knew what time it was, but he just sat by me and people coming up to me, talking to me, like not even knowing, and I don't blame nobody for not knowing, but I'm just like, bro, like, in my head, like, get the fuck away from me. Like people I ain't seen in a minute, like, coming up saying stuff, yo, what up, with all of this shit. I'm just like, bro, I ain't, you feel me? I'm just keeping it cool because I ain't about to be like, oh, get away from me, my mom just died. Like, 'cause I'm still processing it. I'm still living in it. Like, it's very fresh. So it's hard to interact with people. And I remember we was lining up for graduation, and the whole morning I wasn't crying. I was so surprised by that shit. And we lining up for graduation, tears started coming. I'm like, fuck, man. I had to step away for a minute and I got some tissue. Like I said, I had on shades, I had on buffs. So you couldn't really see my eyes, but you can see them a little bit. I had the Hennessy tinted, so you couldn't really tell. And I wear those intentionally just because, I needed to hide from everybody for real. So, we lining up and I just go all the way to the back, like cause I'm like, bro, I can't even do it. I'm shaking, I'm sweating, like I'm about to lose it. Like, and I'm thinking about just dipping, like just leaving, just not even doing it, but I'm here already. And I somehow just find the strength. And I remember when we was lining up for graduation and this chick I used to deal with, she obviously didn't know what I was going through. She kept calling my name, like, you feel me, playing on some shit, like calling me, Tay, Tay. Like she kept calling. I'm purposely ignoring her because I hear her. It's like 4 or 5 times, and I just look over. You feel me? She did like this on some playing shit, right? But she don't know what's going on. I just look at her. I just look away. I'm just like, bro, this is a terrible time, bro. Like I feel empty. Like this shit can't be real. Like this has to be a dream. That's all I could think of at the time. And I walked, I'm walking down, going to the roads and seeing all these families there, parents, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, but like whatever, right? And meanwhile, my family preparing to bury my mom. And you feel me? I ain't got nobody there to really, you feel me, just to fuck with me. Like that was hard seeing that, walking down, seeing that, and getting up to that stage, hearing my name called. It felt like I ain't accomplished nothing. Like I put in a lot of years, a lot of time to, graduate college. You know, that was my second time. I graduated college 3 times, but up to that point, I went through a lot to get that second degree. And it felt like nothing to me, bro. I just was like, whatever. As soon as, you get your, diploma, whatever, you walk across the stage and you go back to your row. I was thinking about just leaving again. I was just gonna walk down and just, you feel me, shoot up out of there. But hardest day ever, man. Hardest day ever. At the time, I didn't know there was another chick I used to, I was cool with, whatever. She was in town and she knew somebody that was graduating from the same school, and she ended up pulling up and she caught me outside when I was about to leave. She was like, we chopping it up, she condolences or whatever, and she wanted me to take pictures with her. I'm like, cool, whatever. So we taking her friend taking the pictures, and I'm not smiling, and she like, why you not smiling? Like, and she knows what's going on, right? Feel me, my head like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, what you mean why I'm not smiling? She's like, you need to smile. Like it's okay. I'm like, nah, it's not okay. I'm just ignoring her because I'm really not trying to be mean, and all the anger that I have right now, feel me, she would have got what she wanted, like at that moment, for real. Like I would have said some real hurtful shit. So I'm just like, you feel me? I ain't got nothing to say. Just taking the pictures and feel me, I just leave and I'm just like, bro, this, for one, people inconsiderate as hell. Cause you feel me, she saw my post and she reached out, sent the text. I didn't see it because I'm going through so much, but she ended up, trying to show me some love at the end. But you feel me, you making it about you because you want me to smile in a picture, like, and you giving me a hard time. Like that shit was so crazy to me, bro. I really couldn't believe it. So, I'm driving home and I'm just, everything's settling back in, like back to reality. I got packing up to go home, and I'm just still in disbelief, man. I'm lost. I'm like, why is this happening to me at this moment? Why is this happening to me? That's all I kept asking. I questioned God for a long time about this, and I'll be a liar if I said I didn't still question Him. Have better understanding of it, but you never get over a loss, especially a parent. I don't, anybody that you love and they're taken away from you. You're always gonna want them to be here. You always gonna think about the good times and memories and everything, man. And it was just why? That's what I kept asking myself, the entire time. Yeah, man. I remember packing up and getting on that flight, coming home. It was That was rough in itself too. Dealing with the family drama, bullshit. It's always been there, you know what I'm saying? But it's even worse. So, it's so much going on at home that I wasn't aware of because, like I said, I tried to block out a lot of those problems you know, that people would call me and tell me, "Oh, this is going on." Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, you feel me? I'm trying to focus, So I get home and it's a disaster, like on top of a disaster. You know what I mean? So, I'm just learning different things. Certain people don't got nowhere to stay like that. People that moved in with this person, all of this. So I get home and I don't got nowhere to stay. I'm thinking I'm about to stay with my sister or my auntie, right? That shit was dead. I was not able to stay with them. I hit my pops. You feel me? Like, me and my pops don't have the best relationship. Let me just say that right now. We don't have a father and son relationship. He's just my dad. Like, I love him, but it is what it is. I call him, like, hey, pops, you feel me? Can I come stay with you while I'm here? Nigga told me no. I'm just like, all right, bro. I don't know what else to do at this moment, man. I'm just like, dog, this shit can't be real, bro. Like, I'm at the airport with nowhere to go, and I'm like, bro, what it like? Cousin was supposed to pick me up. I ain't hear from him. I'm like, all right. I Ubered to a rental car enterprise, got a whip, went to a hotel, bro. And this is the holiday season, bro. Everything expensive as hell. I literally spent all the money I had, and which I didn't care because I ain't about to feel me not be home and see my mama get buried. Like that shit was dead. You know, I spent like just on a hotel. I needed to be there for a week. In hotel, I spent like 2,500, bro. I'm like, I really just had to do this. Like, I can't. Like, I ain't got no family just gonna look out and let me just have somewhere for me to stay. Like, this shit getting real deep now. So I do that, man. I drive over to my mama house in the projects. You know, again, I'm not hearing from nobody. Ain't nobody talking to each other like that. My sister and whoever, they doing the funeral arrangements and all of that shit. So, you know, there's no communication. It's poor communication. So I pull up over there and my brother outside, he's smoking a square. He didn't even know it was me pulling up. So I just walk up to the crib and feel me, he just instantly break down. I just walk past him, bro. Like I'm so numb to this shit. Like I don't know how to explain it. I'm just numb. I'm seeing him breaking down. It's cold as hell. He ain't got on no coat or nothing. He just smoking the square and just crying. I walk in the crib, you know, and before my mama went to the hospital, her hospice bed was in the living room and stuff like that. And I'm just looking at that bitch. It's the frame still there, like whatever. Nothing else is there. All the medical, whatever, everything that she needed. Just everything still right there in that spot in the living room. I'm just like, hell no, I gotta get out of this crib. Like, I'm just looking around. This shit just, it's like she was still there, you know what I mean? But she wasn't there. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is real now. Like, I really see it. This is real. Feel me? I go up to her room. Already start clearing this shit out. I'm broken. I'm broken by that. All her clothes still in the closet. I'm looking at them. I touch them. I sniff them. And you feel me? Obviously, it smelled like my mom, and I was just like, God damn, dog, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. After that, I just left. Like I couldn't do it, bro. Like I probably would have passed out if I would have stayed there. Like just sitting there in that house, knowing that she was just there not too long ago, and she pretty much was dying in there. Like that shit, nah, that wasn't cool at all. So I just got up and left, and the whole time I'm there, I'm back home getting ready for the funeral. Everybody distant, nobody talking to each other. It's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of shit going on. I'm just like, man, it's already a really bad time, and we can't even just come together as a family. Like that shit so selfish, bro, and inconsiderate of everybody, including myself. Like it's not much I could have, done. You could try to make people, come together, but that's, y'all know how family dynamics work sometimes. But it's the whole time I'm there, bro. It's lonely. Like I'm coming home to expect comfort, love, be around people. Bro, I'm not around nobody, bro. Like everybody keeping their distance, everybody and they doing their own thing. And I'm like, man, this shit is fucked up. I can't believe this, bro. Like I'm waking up, looking at my phone. It's everybody reaching out to me that I don't really want to hear from, but like don't expect to hear from. Family, non-existent. Brothers, non-existent. Dad, non-existent. Aunties, nobody is hitting me up. You feel me? But shout out to everybody that know me, all my friends I grew up with, bro, old coaches, everybody, bro, that showed me a lot of love during that time. I never got a, I wasn't talking to people that much because I was just wanting to hear from my family. I wanted to be around them. I missed them. But obviously that wasn't, the energy wasn't reciprocated. So that hurt too. Just knowing that, like knowing we getting ready for a funeral and nobody want to, comfort each other with love and just be there for one another. So yeah, shout out to everybody who was, reaching out to me during that time. I really appreciate it. And a lot of people that's not my family still reach out and check on me because I talk about this shit a lot, on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. And, I express my feelings about how I feel when it comes to my mother and what I'm dealing with during this journey. So, yeah, man, it was a dark time for me, really dark time, and the funeral comes the day of. Still can't believe it. Like, I don't want to wake up. Like, I just wish I can go back to sleep and just not wake up, bro. That's how I was feeling. And, I'm getting ready for this funeral. I'm just like, dreading. Like, dread's pulling teeth. Like, it's like, I don't want to go. Like, I want to go, but I don't want to go. I don't want this to be happening right now. And, I'm driving to the funeral home, crying the whole time. I get there, I see everybody. Shit hit me again. Like, oh my God, this shit, like, it's really real. I pull up, I park way in the back so nobody try to find me. And, people start parking near me, family and shit, and they see me in the car and I'm just, I got the seat way back. I'm sitting in there, everybody outside, in the parking lot. I'm just sitting there. And I remember people coming up to the window, trying to get my attention or, just knock on the window and I'm just sitting there, dog, like I don't even, like I'm invisible. You feel me? Like I'm just sitting there and everybody coming over. My brother come over, my other brother come over, my sister come over, friends come, like neighborhood friends come over. My pops finally come over, and I heard him say, I could hear, I could hear people talking and stuff, and he was just like, "Give him time, y'all. Yeah, give him time. Just get away." I was just like, "Damn!" Like I know me and my pops don't see eye to eye, but yeah, he telling the truth. Like just get away from me right now. So that's that experience. I waited for everybody to go in the funeral home because man, it was too much on me, bro. Especially dealing with all this shit, just with the family and just the bullshit in general. I finally get in a funeral home after everybody went in, and I'm pacing. I'm pacing back and forth. I go around the corner to peek in. I'm just like, nah, I can't. I can't do it. Like I can't do it. I'm in there going like I'm having an attack like within myself because I'm like, bro, this can't be real. Like this can't be real. This can't be real. For me, I peek around again. I can see the casket, and I'm just like, nah, nope, mm-mm. This is what I'm feeling in this moment. And, I finally walk in. It's a lot of emotion. I see everybody, everybody. I see everybody. I'm walking slow. I'm coming from the back, and people start noticing that I was there, and it's just like all eyes on me, obviously. And I see my nephews. I got a lot of nieces and nephews. I see my nephews sitting to the side, man, and they just looking at me like in disbelief, bro. Like they so hurt because I'm hurt. You know what I mean? They know what's going on, but like, you know what I mean? They still young at the time, so they just looking at me, and I don't even got nothing. Like I didn't say nothing to them. Like I just walked straight past them. Like you know what I mean? And that shit is like that's a terrible feeling, bro, because they so innocent and they looking at me sad as hell. Like I could see it in their faces. Like I replay that a lot too, cause it was like they wanted me to say something to them, and I ain't have shit to say. So, you know, I get to the casket and it don't even look like her, bro. Like I'm like, this can't be my mama. Like it's been a while. I've been to a lot of funerals, but up to this point, it's been a while since I've been to a funeral. And deceased bodies, in caskets, they look a lot different. You know what I mean? It's just something about it, man. I don't want to get into that, but it just people look a lot different when they're, out of life. And I'm just looking at her like shit didn't feel real, man. Again, I don't need this shit feel like a dream. Like I'm like this I'm looking at my mama and I'm just like I grab her. I didn't grab her. I put my hand on her hands. I'm just rubbing her. And I just stayed there for a minute. I got on my knees, my hands over the casket. I'm just man, like that was confirmation that she was gone for me. Like, cause I wasn't about to process it. You know what I mean? I couldn't understand it. I didn't want to believe it. It wasn't true to me. I knew it was true, but I'm like, no, I'm about to trick myself. This is not real. But once I seen her in there, even more, just left out of my body, bro. I became, empty. It's like I'm not even there for real. I'm just there in spirit. That's how I felt like that day. Like I just felt like a guardian angel or something. Like, and that experience is it's traumatizing, bro. Like, it's my first time sharing a lot of these things and a lot of emotions that I felt during this time, the early stages. And everything was challenging to me. Dealing with the family dynamics, graduation. I'm starting grad school in January. You know what I mean? So it's so much going on. And and all I could ask is why. All I could ask is why. And yeah, man, you know, a lot of people did their thing toward me, said a lot of hurtful things toward me during this time. And I don't think I've got to that part where I forgave everybody who's in my life at this point. Because it's just certain shit you just don't say when somebody is going through something like this. Shout out to everybody who, like, again, I appreciate everybody who did support me. Shout out to D. It's my friend. She came down from Chicago right when I got back from Detroit to the funeral. She came and, you feel me? She showed some love. She showed up for me. That's one person I can say that did show up for me. But other than that, I'm still hurt by how I was treated during this time. All I wanted was love. I didn't want shit else from nobody. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want nothing else. I just wanted to feel love, and I got the complete opposite of that, man. Like I got abandoned, like real hard. You feel me? By my own family, my own friends, like my some of my best friends. I didn't hear from them at all, until way down the line. You know what I mean? So it was everybody deals with grief differently, but I definitely realized that it's a lot of lessons to be learned during this time. I don't expect anything from people anymore when it comes to how you feel they should be, towards you or who they are as people. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to uncover. A lot of emotions, man. Everything was challenging. Like I said, everything was dark for me. Uh, I'm trying to get ready to go to grad school, play my last year of baseball. You know, that's a thing in itself, right? Because I just buried my mom and now I got to go back to school. This was already I planned on going back to school way before she passed. You know what I mean? And it was just something in me that I didn't want to give up. And I talked to my mom about it before she passed. Obviously she wasn't in her right state of mind to understand, but she definitely understood what I was trying to do. She said, "Yeah, you gonna go for another one?" And she was talking about a degree. I'm like, "Yeah, ma, I am." And I could just think about that, and that would make me, want to push forward and try to do it like for real. So yeah, man. I didn't find a way to cope with it at all, because again, life is continuing. I didn't have time to heal. 2 weeks after my mom was buried, you know, I'm moving to a whole nother state, whole new school, whole new team, a bunch of new people, and now I got to put on a facade early on in those stages because it's a new environment for me. Like at the time, the coach, shout out to Coach Henry, got a lot of love for him. Um, he didn't know what was going on. I'm talking to him in the fall, whatever, to get ready to come in the spring, but I didn't tell him. I didn't have time to just reach out and just tell him what was going on. So I masked it when I got there, and life just started back for me. I'm going to classes again. I'm going to practice, all while knowing I just buried my mom 2.5 weeks ago. 2 weeks, 2.5, something like that. It was, my mom's funeral was on the 17th of December. So, and January 1st, I was gone. So starting that new journey and just being around a bunch of new people and they don't know what the fuck is going on, right? And I'm not the one to just go pour all my shit on, to someone else. And it was hard for those first 2 weeks, in a new environment. I'm real standoffish. I'm real, uh, reserved. I'm not really talking much, and I'm just going to school, going to practice, going home, and crying. Like that was my routine every single day. And at the time, I was eating real heavy. Like I was just eating whenever I feel depressed. So I started to put on weight. I was probably like 215, like right when time my mom died, and probably like by February, bro, I was like 235. Like I was just going crazy with food. You feel me? Because that was the only thing that was a coping mechanism for me at the time. Was just eating whenever I feel sad. So I'm just going through the motions with this new team. I'm at practice. I'm out of it. Nobody knows what's going on. I'm trying to be social. You feel me? But it's hard to do that. And in class, luckily, the graduate level courses, not too many people in there, so I don't gotta talk really. You feel me? And it's probably like 4 or 5 people in each class, so I'm sitting far away from everybody. I ain't gotta say shit. I ain't gotta engage that much. It's real straight to the point. So that was okay. But the baseball part was super hard, man, because I'm gelling. I'm starting to gel with the new guys, and they my brothers to this day, but they don't know what's going on, man. I'm keeping all of this shit bottled in at a time like this, and I just remember this is one practice, one inter squad, scrimmage, and I was a pitcher, so it's my turn to pitch or whatever. I'm pitching. We face 4 batters a set or something like that. I had 2 sets. If you play baseball, you know what I'm talking about. And I get up to my 4th batter, man. I'm pitching. It's going all right. You feel me? I'm not all the way there. It's going all right. The 4th guy come up, step in the box. You feel me? I just walk off the mound and I just threw the ball. You feel me? I just left. Like didn't say nothing. I went to the back of the dugout. I started crying like a motherfucker. Like, and nobody was coming over. And I'm thinking like, damn, nobody even care or nothing like that because I don't know what type of program this is. I don't know what type of guys these are. Like, so I'm just like, damn, I'm back lonely again. Like, while I'm trying to do this shit. And after a while, our assistant coach, Lagos, he come by, he come holler at me. He like, man, what's up, man? What's going on? Like, can you talk to me? I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just staring. I'm just sitting there, tears, just sitting on the ground for like a minute straight. You know, He like, hey man, just hey, talk to me, big guy. What's going on? That type of thing. And I just looked at him. I said, man, I just lost my mom a few weeks ago, bro. Like I ain't. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? And he just was like, he was like. Like you could tell it hit him real hard, like, cause he didn't know what to say. And he just sat there with me for a minute. He walked away, and they finishing up practice, and the inner squad, whatever. I sneak away. I walk around the field and get away. Hop in the whip. I go to the locker room, get my shit, and I just go home to the apartment. And as soon as I get home, my head coach, Coach Henry, called me, and I said hello. He was like, "Hey man, what's up?" I said, "What's up, coach?" He's like, "Yeah, Lagos told me what's going on with you. I'm really sorry. My condolences to you. I'm sorry this is happening to you. I'm sorry. I had no idea. Yeah, just a conversation like that, and we stayed on the phone for about 30 minutes, and I told him like, yeah, coach, I didn't really know how to tell you. You know what I mean? I was a new player. I was a new transfer. And at the time, it didn't feel right to tell him. Like I just being honest. Like I didn't have it. I didn't have the courage to just tell him, "Hey, coach, I'm dealing with this right now," because there was a sense of I feel like there would have been a sense of judgment there. So I just kept it to myself, and I'll just say from that time, like going from that time, it was nothing but love and support from all of those guys, and especially and my coaches as well. Like they really took me in and helped me at a time where I needed it. Cause like again, I'm lonely. I'm not talking to my family and stuff like that. I'm just going through the motions. I'm just going to school, going to practice, going home, crying and sleeping. Even my roommate at the time didn't even know. I would just stay in my room and feel me, he'll be doing this thing, and that's my guy. Like that's my brother to this day. And once everybody found out, bro, like everybody tapped in and they, you feel me, show love, like and really comforted me at a time where I needed it, bro. Like and that mean everything to me. And at that point, that's when I started to finally be able to heal a little bit. Because a lot of people understood. We had some people on the team who experienced loss, not a parent, but you know, I didn't know that this group and this program was like this. It was a family environment, and it was real genuine too. It wasn't, it wasn't fake. They took me in and they showed me love daily, bro. And to this day, they all my guys. Like, we won a championship together that season. So just going there really helped me start healing a little bit because baseball is something that I love. I was able to play some good baseball. I didn't play much that year because I really just couldn't perform that well. I didn't pitch much, probably like 6 or 7 innings that whole year, which was fine because I was having fun, bro, and I was just trying to process everything, man. And I'm doing good in school and everything. So I started to heal slowly, but all of the emotions were still there. I still was suicidal. I still felt abandoned. I was hurt by how certain people would treat me. I'm not talking to my family. It was just a lot, man. But yeah, that was a critical time for me. I'm almost decided to not go back to school right away. I was gonna wait, but I'm glad that I had the strength and the courage to just go and just to go. Because that was probably like the best year I've had in school ever. Like playing baseball too. Like with those dudes, man, it was man. It just made me feel so good to be a part of that year, and it was meant to be. Because if I would have never went, I would have probably never went back to school. You know what I mean? I would have never got to play with that group. I would have never won a ship. I would have never got that experience. I probably would have never healed the same, started to heal like that. So I just feel like it was perfect timing for me. Yeah, man, and I yeah, man, that was tough too because a lot of times during that season, that semester, semester is like 5 months long. Man, that felt like the longest 5 months ever. Because when I'm done, playing baseball, laughing and having fun, I snap back into reality and realize that my mom is gone and I'm we at these games, people's parents coming to the hotels on the road, traveling, and people calling their mom, and I'm just like, oh man, this shit triggering, So I spent a lot of time just sneaking away and trying to just being in my own world. And luckily, a lot of those trips too, like the senior players, so we sometimes got our own room, so that shit was like perfect. But yeah, it was hard, but I made it through it, and I couldn't have done it without those guys. So that was where I found the sense of community. I knew I would eventually find it within that environment, but I didn't know it would be like that. Looking back, so I'm super grateful for them. I love all of them, man. I really enjoyed that time, and little do they know, they helped me get through this. You know, get through those suicidal moments. There's a few times during that semester where, again, I was thinking about harming myself. You feel me? And nobody knew. You know what I mean? So it was just something I had to personally deal with. So yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah, man. Just glad. I'm glad I'm able to finally share this and get this out to the world. Because recently I've been talking about my journey on platforms, and I've been having a lot of people reach out, and I didn't expect it. You know what I mean? This is a small community of people, who deal with the loss of parents, who have the same experiences and feelings. And for the longest, I felt like I was the only one who lost their mom. Like, obviously, that's pretty insane to think, right? But that's just how it felt. And building community when you're grieving is very important because most people don't know how to handle someone who is grieving. Most people haven't experienced grief, experienced loss. Excuse me. Most people haven't lost, anything really, so they don't know how that feels. And when you talk to people who go through the same things as you, you realize that you're not alone. So, and this was a way for me to find an outlet to help me heal during this journey. So uh, I'm glad that I did find another community within this grieving journey because it's helped me realize that, if people see me talk, it may can help them find an outlet to express themselves. People that feel lonely, find someone to talk to. And I've talked to a lot of strangers since, just by sharing. It can just be me posting on Instagram. Man, I miss my mom so much. So many people come and be like, I'm sorry, I lost my mom too, and stuff like that. So it's always a connection with people. And I just hope by getting this out there that people will really understand my story. But also I hope this helps people find their outlet and be able to express themselves because I went through a time where I didn't want to talk. I felt like talking was pointless. I tried therapy, that didn't work, and everything like that. So, I get it. We have to stick together during this process because it can get very lonely. It can be very dark. People are constantly misunderstanding you. Think they know what's best for you, and that's the worst part to deal with. Feeling like nobody is there for you. And I know a lot of people experience that. So I just want to say, to wrap this episode up, um, I'm grateful that I'm here at this point now to be able to share to everyone. And I hope this message gets to the right people who need it, because at a time where I needed it, I needed something like this. I needed love. I needed more love. You know what I mean? And that's really what all it comes down to. Is having grace for someone, just being patient with them, not rushing their process, letting them heal, letting them feel everything, every emotion without judgment, without thinking, without projecting anything on them. You know what I mean? Most people deal with the same experiences when it comes to this. People doing them wrong, losing out on friendships, relationships, family, everything. So, I just want to end with that. Thank y'all for watching this episode. And yeah, that's it.